This is year 2 of the Beat the Reaper pepper breeding project. And just as a review, my kind of philosophy behind my approach was take a Trinidadian pepper, like a scorpion or a 7-pot, and cross that with an Indian or Bangladeshi ghost type. I chose Dorset Naga because that is the hottest of the Indian / Bangladeshi peppers, so at least that has been officially tested. And I chose a Moruga scorpion from the Chili Pepper Institute, which is the hottest land race from Trinidad that has been tested. And I chose to do a Trinidadian times Indian Bangladeshi because the hottest peppers that have been tested, which is 7-Pot Primo and the Carolina Reaper, are alleged to be those type of crosses. And I wanted to see if I started with a hotter version of a Trinidadian pepper than the 7-Pot, which went into the Primo, and a hotter version than the Nagamorich, which also went into the Primo, which is reputedly the actual source of the Carolina Reaper. Who knows in actuality? And anyway, I crossed the Dorset Naga and the Moruga scorpion. The Dorset Naga, the kind of a quote-unquote official variety from Sea Spring in Dorset. And now I am in the 2nd generation, and if you'll recall back to your Mendelian genetics, it's that 2nd generation that you really get the mix-up of genes. And so I started off with, I don't know, like 200 or 300 little seedlings, and then I selected for the strongest, and I was kind of thinking, and the most diverse. And so this is that first set, and you'll see the leaves look different, you know, different heights, and maybe different internodal spacing, and different aptitude for branching, perhaps. And one of the ways I was kind of selecting, because when you're looking at a whole bunch of seedlings all smacked together like this, it can be hard to tell which is the most vigorous, because you could just be selecting for the tallest and the one that maybe jumped above everybody else, but it's actually not maybe the most vigorous. And so what I try to do is I would look for, in a particular cell, which maybe I had packed full of different seedlings, I try to figure out which of these is actually the fattest in terms of the stem. And so that's at least part of how I was selecting, was who had the fattest stem. Because it's just quicker, you know, you can push them over real quick and then try to determine that, rather than being like, okay, which one, you know, has the most leaves or the biggest leaves or looks the healthiest. It can just be easier to be like, okay, who has put on the most absolute dry weight. And anyway, so that's kind of my quick way of selecting through several hundred seedlings. And now I've gotten down to these, and I think they're looking pretty good. They're looking decent. And I'm definitely seeing some, you know, genetic variability. I can kind of push these together, and you can see one has pretty flat leaves. The other has kind of this classic Trinidadian wrinkle to it, which I think is quite beautiful. And this is also a nice little brancher. Looking forward to that. And I guess that's all I really want to say. Just kind of a little update on how they're doing. I'm going to start to put these guys outside to harden up. It is March here, 2022 in Florida, Tallahassee, Florida. So we are about ready to go outside and get growing. And this is my focus one that I'm really intent on trying to try out. I don't even know what I have right now. I've got 18 I think I have 33, if I just did a count right, something like that, that I'll try to grow out and select the what I perceive to be the hottest. And you know, I won't be doing any type of official test during F2. I'm just not sure that it's worth it at F2 to do that and pay the money to get the Scoville heat rating. So I will be selecting for what seems to be the hottest to my mouth and tongue, and I'll be looking for, you know, abundance of placental tissue, which produces the capsaicin, and I'll be looking for kind of oiliness, both oil within the pod cavity wall, but then also like the oil that's embedded within the wall, which comes off as kind of an orangey hue within the pepper, that can tell you how much capsaicin is kind of in the actual wall, as opposed to like glistening on the inside, secreted on the inside. And so anyway, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. In addition to that, I'm also keeping some from Dorset Naga times Douglas, same Dorset Naga from Sea Spring Seeds, and the Douglas from the Chili Pepper Institute in New Mexico, which is also the source of the Moruga that I'm using. And got some, you know, nice little variability on that as well. Definitely more of a Douglas type look to them. Some of them have this very heart-shaped leaf, which is pretty, and then some of them have more of this elongated leaf. Also nice, but different. Shows that the genes are getting mixed up. I think of that as more kind of ghosty. And then I've also got another one, which is Dorset Naga times cross already, which is Moruga times Fatali. So anyway, this one has very much a classic Fatali type leaf shape. And yeah, we'll see what happens. It's just for fun.